Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 1% Tribe. Tonight, we got a really good one. I liked the title, so I grabbed it. Sometimes, you're going to end up with this AI stuff, so I like playing with it for titles. So this one was pretty good. So it's called, The Golden Glow, Exploring Turmeric's Power. So, but before we do that, hopefully I got some newbies, or hopefully you'll enjoy the process tonight. Turmeric's one of those that, in my practice, I see it a lot. People use turmeric quite often for an anti-inflammatory effect, and it's very well known for that. One of the problems, though, is I see that we don't use it correctly. And we'll go through that tonight so that when you utilize this amazing herb that helps with a lot of things, you can really have confidence that you're using it correctly. So once I walk people through, using it correctly, they start seeing the major benefits of it versus sorta, or maybe it doesn't work, right? So with that said, reminder tonight, I will, in the comments, I want to make sure you follow this. If you like the content, and we're doing like two a week, so I'm pretty pumped. If you like, there's a Rumble channel I have, and I'll put it in the links right there. I'll put it in the comment section. Oh, yeah, Julie, great topic. I use it. I know this is going to be great because you'll actually find out why, why people use it more than just what you think with inflammation and all those kind of things. So here's the Rumble channel. And then we also have a YouTube channel. I got to get I'll probably start promoting that a little bit as well, because if we follow it there anyway. And then I have a podcast. So this is a place where you can also get the podcast. So if you like listening, this is a place you can do it. The podcast, if you put in The Prize Inside, A Chiropractor's Journey, or look for that little logo in Rumble, or the podcast areas like Spotify, YouTube, or iTunes, all those. It's running in there. I found out I don't know what it is. I'm one of the top or chiropractic ones in a certain category. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'm trying to figure all that out. But I try to do this organic because one thing I learned this week, I read an article on some interesting things. One thing that I want you to be super aware of, just as the world has changed, this AI stuff that's coming in, it's going to change our experience on all platforms, social media, computers in general. And one thing that I thought was profound, this article I was reading, is one of the ways you make it big in, this kind of live streaming podcast stuff was a lot of times you could pay for reach. So what that means is people would pay for their listeners. They get enough, people start looking, go, man, he's got 100,000, listeners. So you'd become a subscriber as well. those little tricks used to work. And sometimes you would get influenced to a certain, that's why they call it like influencers. So a lot of times the content may not be, as powerful. And one reason I'm doing these is because I want to do it as organic as possible, because I want to, just like chiropractic, if I adjust you and you feel better because of that adjustment, and you actually start feeling a difference, you start asking more questions. What is this holistic life about? Oh my gosh, I don't have to stay on, 7 Tylenol a day, and just these little like breakthroughs that occur. I believe that's what social media is going to happen now. We're getting inundated, guys, with so many bots. You don't even know who's real on all your social media stuff, to the point that I really believe people are starting to get away from it. One of the things that I thought, one of the interesting parts is, in my head, I keep going, think about like when email came out. We loved it as a communication tool, back and forth. I'll give an example. Julie would be on there. We'd email back and forth. It was glorious. And then the spam started coming. And then all this spam started hitting our everywhere, right? And it was so overwhelming, almost everybody went away from email. One of the things I want you to really focus on is understanding original stuff. There's a lot of really good health ones out there. But what I've noticed is some of these ones I get recommended sometimes are just regurgitating, things that you can find on your own. Okay. So with that said, I don't mean this in a dig towards anything. Just understand it's not going to be necessarily about the high volume anymore. It's going to be on what kind of the quality that you get. Okay. In any subject. And my hope is that I give you enough in our holistic wellness that you'll become, one of our subscribers and enjoy it every night. So, because I enjoy it, and I did this, I bring it up every time. Dr. Williams, who had practiced 51 years, I might try to grab Bev and see if she'd do it, to come on here. And one of the things that he said, he'd practiced 51 years, and his biggest regret was not writing down all the cool things that had happened in his chiropractic clinic over the years. And I really wanted that to happen. And so what I really wanted to do was to have some kind of recording vessel. And I thought this would be the best way. So I started with a podcast a few years ago, did not stay consistent with it later. And I kind of regret that, because I really, really enjoyed doing it. It's just when you run out of time and kids and you have all these excuses, you can, until I started improving my own time, my own understanding, my own, I'm busy. So is everybody else, right? That's not an excuse. Don't use any of that kind of stuff. So if you feel the moment, do it yourself, right? Do those things, because it's worth it and it gets this out there. So with that said, tonight is about turmeric and the power of it. But I always go through, remember also Whole Health Weekly on Wednesday night. It'll probably, as school starts getting here, it'll probably be towards like 8:30 at night. Whole Health Wednesday, Whole Health Weekly. That's where I go over news articles and all those kind of things. But I want to go over a couple articles I found while researching for that night. Did you know walking on an incline burns more calories and is more fat loss metabolism than just running on a treadmill? So literally walking on an incline instead of running on that same treadmill will actually allow your metabolisms to burn more, thereby losing more weight, right? So if you wanted to do that, remember that when you go to the gym, walk on an incline. A lot of my bodybuilders do that, and now there's proof, even if they knew that already. Another article came out this time. It's the Dr. Mercola on apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar taken in very small doses. There's been people getting crazy with the old apple cider vinegar. You don't want to take too much, because there's other things. You want to take a small amount. That small amount actually aids in digestion, helps blood sugar, and actually can like combat hunger, right? So a lot of other things, apple cider vinegar helps balance the pH of that gut microbiome, that gut acid. So that can be a really good thing. So remember apple cider vinegar, but take like a little bit, like a shot or a spoonful, teaspoon, something like that. You don't need to start with, 2 gallons, because you can actually hurt your teeth. There's a lot of things you can do if you go the other way. It's still acidic. It's still, well, it's basically basic, but it can cause damage. Okay. So remember that. And then this one was interesting because I had never heard this link, but cutting your fake sugars, the artificial sweeteners and all those things in a male could actually help men with fertility. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So if you know somebody struggling, maybe a couple, like a young couple trying to get pregnant, have hubby, get off of all the fake sugar. I didn't read the full article, but I thought that's an incredible piece of info right there. So remember that fake sugar and infertility. Okay. So, Jerry, thank you, sir. Is this Jerry or Marsha on there? I want to know, my friend. No, I'm just kidding. Keep chatting away in that chat box too. If you guys have questions as we go, please do not worry about interrupting. Put something in the chat if you have a question out there, and hopefully I will answer it. But for right now, let's dive into the beautiful golden place of turmeric. We've heard much about this. Many supplements on the market have this turmeric in there, and for good reason, for very good reason. All right, let's talk about it. So what we're going to go over tonight is what is turmeric and what it can do for you. How does it fit into our 1% lifestyle? How do you use that? And learning how to use it and understanding its role of what it's doing in your body to create the best innate intelligence, right? Because holistic people, we look at our body different. It's not just about reducing inflammation. It's about making our inflammation process correct, right? Communicate perfect. We want our inflammation process to be there, right? We just want it working right. Okay. So think about it that way. And I'll explain a little bit more on that. So what is turmeric? So what is it? It's a big yellow stinky, maybe. Some people love it. I smell it. Oh man. Sometimes when you cook with that, you get that delicious Indian food taste. The smells are wonderful as well. Turmeric, curcuma longa, is a bright yellow orange spice derived from the rhizome of a plant in the ginger family. Commonly used for cooking, like in curry, right? Traditional medicine, particularly in Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine, both of them use it. Its primary active compound is called curcumin. Okay, so this is not a different supplement. This is what is in it. Okay, that makes it active. We hear about curcumin and those kind of things. This curcumin is responsible for most of the therapeutic benefits, though turmeric contains over 100 other compounds, including volatile oils and turmerones, which contribute to its benefit. Okay, so does that make sense? So curcumin is what the active actual ingredient is in turmeric. It's also this curcumin you can find in ginger. Okay, so what I like to call them in the herbal stuff that I've studied was curcuminoids. They're the active part of this turmeric, right? And so when you hear this, because some people get that confused, they're like, okay, what's this supplement curcumin? Well, it's really turmeric, ginger in that same family. It's just what is the chemical in the plant that's causing the good stuff to happen. Oh yes, Jerry said. So going back to that, so remember the sugars, like the fake sugars. These are some of the fantastic fake words that they like to use: sucralose, aspartame, NutraSweet, high fructose corn syrup. You can throw that one in there too. So remember those as fake sugars, right? We need to make sure we're understanding that. We should go through that, Jerry. That's a good one. I might go through all the fake names of all the stuff they say is natural and is not. Okay. That'd be a fun one, actually. I might do that. So, okay. So let's go through the health benefits of turmeric. The first one that we all know is that it reduces inflammation. It's effective for managing chronic inflammation in conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, and inflammatory bowel disease. Inflammatory bowel disease, the other ones to say are Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. Okay. Studies show curcumin may be as effective as an anti-inflammatory drug, ibuprofen, for joint pain with fewer side effects. So that's literally what they found in the biggest study out there for turmeric. So here's some more benefits. There's joint health and pain relief. Curcumin, remember the active ingredient in turmeric. Okay, so when we say that, so curcumin's anti-inflammatory effects help reduce joint pain, stiffness, and especially in arthritis. In a 2016 study, this curcumin stuff found in turmeric improved symptoms of osteoarthritis patients better than NSAIDs did, actually, without the side effects. Isn't that wild? You know how NSAIDs win? You know how they win in our society? Just to throw it out there, they work quicker. And that's a little key to understanding how to work with turmeric, okay? The drug, the NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, the difference is you get an instant manifestation, right? You get the instant relief of using it. Not that that's a bad thing. Maybe you need that, right? But turmeric over time and used correctly actually did it better. Okay, so remember that. All right, and you might hear my dog barking. I don't know.
She let herself out.
Oh, we have our dog Olive. Our Corky's this very big watchdog out there. So she's usually pretty chill right now, but that's all right. Okay, so let's go on to curcumin and turmeric's situation where more health benefits. So heart health is the next one. This is pretty cool. So curcumin improves endothelial function, blood vessel lining around the heart, reducing the risk of heart disease. That's pretty awesome. Its antioxidant properties may lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, oxidation, and reduce plaque buildup in arteries. So that's pretty cool. And that's just out of turmeric, right? We haven't even left the supplement yet, guys. So this is why this is going to be an important night. Brain health and mood. All right, let's nail this one. So this may help. It actually is showing now to help prevent cognitive decline in conditions like Alzheimer's by reducing amyloid plaque buildup, which is kind of I call it like the scar tissue-ish of inflammation in your brain. And so you get this buildup over time that they call it, it's called amyloid plaque. It's like a very scary sounding term, but you really don't want it, because it leads to Alzheimer's. And then some studies suggest, this is just a suggestion though, it can alleviate symptoms of depression by boosting serotonin and dopamine levels, but it's pretty early to say that. But you can see all the stuff that we've already named is pretty worth knowing how to use turmeric. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm not done yet. Digestive health, which is one of the biggest ones, helps relieve symptoms of indigestion, bloating, and gas, and helps in the bile production. It may reduce symptoms of IBS and ulcerative colitis by calming gut inflammation. Immune system and antimicrobial effects. So it boosts immunity and may help fight infections due to antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties. This is actually used in the Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine for colds, flus, and minor infections. Turmeric teas, remember that. Skin health. If you actually can apply turmeric topically, or it can be taken orally, and turmeric's anti-inflammatories, the curcumin, like properties can help with acne, psoriasis, and wound healing. Now, personally, I've never used that. I don't think in America I've heard that, but that piques my interest because I knew it was there. I just didn't know that you could actually use it for topical, which is really cool. Its antioxidants may actually help skin aging and improve radiance. So that's pretty cool. So like a turmeric mask might be something to think about. I wonder if it'd be hot. Be curious, like a curry or something. This is a preliminary study on this one, but there could be some cancer preventing situations because curcumin, remember the active ingredient in turmeric, inhibits cancer cell growth, metastasis in lab studies, particular breast, colon, and prostate cancers. Human studies are limited, but its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects suggest potential preventative benefits. So because it does so well on controlling and understanding what the anti-inflammatory process is with these curcumins, it's a very big likelihood that cancer prevention could be something that could happen with turmeric. But there's no like study saying, yes, this can do that. All right. So we got a couple more and then we'll get into some other cool stuff. Health benefits of turmeric. More. Diabetes management. And this is probably one of the bigger ones, actually. And we'll talk about it. Curcumin may improve insulin sensitivity and lower blood sugar levels, potentially aiding in type 2 diabetes management. A 2019 study showed curcumin supplements reduced H1 or the A1C A1C level in diabetic patients. Weight management. Curcumin may support weight loss by reducing inflammation linked to obesity, improving fat metabolism through evidence that is emerging. All right, I know. So that is a ton of benefits. So hopefully you enjoyed that. So does it sound, give me a thumbs up into anything. Does it sound like one of those supplements? Thumbs up, heart, any of these. That it should be one of these everyday kind of things. Turmeric, a food herb, one that people use for culinary spice. I think it's got enough benefits in there to warrant you going, maybe that's something I should take every day. Yeah. So I would say so. And one of the things we're going to go over is how the turmeric works. Is the next step of this talk tonight. And then we're going to kind of go into the innate intelligence and why it's so important. By giving your body turmeric and these curcuminoids, right? That active ingredient, you're giving your inflammation process a ton of, somebody gave me a new one, like a shock and awe sticker or something. Okay. So anyways, you're giving your anti-inflammatory, the innate intelligence of your body, the ability to have this inflammatory process, right? Because there's a bunch of cells in this inflammatory process, right? So you have these cells that are waiting to fight any invader that comes in, right? So we have all these different inflammation cells that come in, and you use them to attack things like, let's say, a virus, a bug, a bacteria, a foreign invader, crappy food, right? We have all these things that get attacked based on the what's in there, right? So you want a good inflammation process. No one wants no inflammation ever. That'd be insane. But when when our body is so essentially toxic from whatever it is, right? It could be bad food, bad whatever. When that happens and your inflammation process gets out of control, it has a hard time reeling that back in. Therefore, you get into these things like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis. These are all conditions that your immune system gets out of control, or your inflammation process gets out of control. Once your inflammation process gets out of control, it's hard for your body to recover. But if you give it the tools like curcumin, we can get back to where the inflammation process is doing what it's supposed to. All right. So how does turmeric work? Curcumin has anti-inflammatory actions. Okay. It uses this. So the curcumin, remember, it's the active portion, right? And it uses it inhibits the inflammatory pathways by blocking molecules like nuclear factor kappa B, which after this, you have a test later. No, I'm just kidding. And enzymes like COX-2, which is a very big inflammation, which are involved in inflammation. This reduces chronic inflammation, a root cause of many diseases, including arthritis, heart disease, and certain cancers. So when I always called it it's nuclear factor, huh? I always thought it was necrosis factor. But so these two molecules are going when the inflammatory process is going. These are parts of it. And maybe that's one way we'll go into the whole inflammation cascade would be a good idea. So once these get out of control, though, they're going nuts all the time because they're constantly turned on. And because there's no rest time, they get overstimulated. And so they're just constantly having to be on. So what curcumin does is reduce that and stop that from occurring, dropping that inflammation process, especially in the chronic inflammation areas. It also has antioxidant properties. Curcumin, and this one you all will remember, curcumin neutralizes free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells due to its chemical structure, protecting cells from oxidative stress. It also boasts the body's own antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase or glutathione. Has anyone ever heard about that one? Glutathione is a very common supplement, actually. So remember that. The glutathione, people take it as an actual supplement for antioxidant properties, but it helps with cellular defense. All right. How does it work? Continued. It also does immune support. So we have immune system support on top of this. So remember the curcumin, that's the active ingredient in turmeric, modulates the immune responses by influencing T cells and B cells and macrophages. Oh, all three. So these are three different cells that are within your immune system. Okay. They do various different things, potentially enhancing immunity while reducing overactive immune responses, autoimmune conditions. So it can be a really, really good one. Its antimicrobial properties help fight bacteria, viruses, and fungi. So you can see how that could be a really good one too. This should be an add-on when the cold season comes as well. Brain and nervous system. Curcumin increases levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports neuron growth and survival, potentially improving cognitive function and mood. That's pretty cool. It does cross the blood-brain barrier, which is a huge deal, and it often offering potential neuroprotective effects against diseases like Alzheimer's. Digestive and liver support. Turmeric stimulates, remember this is the curcumin, turmeric stimulates bile production, which is awesome, aiding in fat digestion and liver function. And it also does gut inflammation. It reduces that as well. Okay, I got one. Okay, so now we can start. So now that you know what it does, we've heard all of those things. Okay, so one of the reasons this is important tonight, how long has all of us known about turmeric? This turmeric to me, and this is just an opinion, turmeric to me is one of these supplements that is what they call, like, we fell for the fad. Okay. So we got introduced to this about 5, 6, 7 years ago, probably. Okay. Turmeric. I kept hearing turmeric supplements. Everybody's taking some. Back then, I wasn't into the herbal side as much, didn't understand it as much. So I would hear people go, "Oh, I didn't work. Had some and I went away." I just went back to my old NSAID or ibuprofen, whatever, right? And I was like, that's interesting because it has all these properties. I don't understand why it wouldn't work as well as something that, was a chemical to do the exact same thing. As I was understanding this herbal new world that I was in, I understood that we were never taught or ever learning how to take it actually correctly. And one of the things we did was in 5, 6 years ago, we would buy a very expensive supplement type stuff. We would take 1 or 2 of them and think that was it. The biggest issue with turmeric is actually, it's called therapeutic load, and we're going to talk about that. All right. So here's the problem. Turmeric has this thing called a bioavailability challenge. Okay. It is very poorly absorbed by the body due to the rapid metabolism and low solubility in water. Okay. So bioavailability, it has a hard time getting digested no matter what. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit to that. The think of it as, oil and water. Okay. So like once it goes into your stomach, it's more like an oil-ish. Like this oil is just not absorbing really well into the body, into the gut. Okay. And because of that bioavailability problem, it makes it a lot more difficult to actually get the effect if there's not enough in you. If there's a lot of it in you, if you know where I'm going with this, you will actually see some of those effects. Now, the other way to add, and we'll go into this a little bit more, the other way to add effectiveness is something if you have a turmeric supplement, you've seen this also. Combining turmeric or these curcuminoids with black pepper. Okay. So this is called piperine, the active ingredient. That's why I kept pushing it, right? The piperine is the active ingredient in black pepper, can enhance curcumin absorption by 2,000%. Okay. Consuming it. Okay. So we're going to talk about this in a minute. Consuming it with fats also improves its absorption. Okay. So you have turmeric. You take a lot of it. You take a ton, let's say. We take a big old grouping of them and we get it down into our gut. It's not being absorbed as well as we'd like. So what are some supplements doing? They're putting black pepper in it. And the way you know this is it's called piperine. So piperine is the active thing like curcumin is to turmeric, piperine is to black pepper. Okay. So a lot of these new supplements are actually combining those two within the supplement so that you don't have to take as much turmeric to get it to absorb to actually get all those wonderful benefits that I just told you about. Okay. All right. Now, here's the other way to really help absorption of turmeric. Use fats. So, like milk, oils, right? Fats help turmeric absorb better. It likes fat. So, turmeric enjoys that. So, if you are a person maybe on a carnivore type diet, avocados, there's this thing called golden milk. Golden milk is a very, very, very popular way to. Hello, Terry. Thank you for that. So golden milk is this very popular way to have turmeric. Many other countries have done this for many, many years. They just have a nice setup of this golden milk. I'll try to find put it in the chat maybe. All right. Ooh, here we go. Let's see if I can sneak in there. See, this one sounds fantastic. I have not tried it. Let me see. I don't want to take her. I'll link this one. How about that? This is called, I'm just grabbing the first one I see, but it looked great. It's called the Turmeric Latte. And I'll put it in the chat. So this turmeric latte actually has in it milk, ground turmeric, ground cinnamon, ginger, fresh or ground, both work well, black pepper, and some kind of sweetener like honey or maple syrup. That sounds delicious. All right. I have a new thing I'm going to try. I'm going to leave that up there because oh no. I don't know if that'll actually take. Darn it. That's okay. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay. But like look up turmeric latte. Turmeric latte. That would be fantastic. So just to try it and see how it goes. I am sure we can have some deliciousness there. Oh, what did you say, Terry? I went back. Oh, yes. Black seed oil, you can add to so many different things. It's a little different than actually black pepper, right? So it has black seed oil has a whole different activity layer to it, but very, very good. Turmeric, black pepper together, you'll get a lot of those type of supplements now. All right. So we did that. So bioavailability. Okay. So here's what you really wanted. So how do you take it? What is the best way? Okay. So best way to take turmeric is between 500 and 2,000 milligrams of curcumin, which is the active ingredient in turmeric, right? Daily. Not 200 daily, 500 to 2,000 milligrams daily. Okay. And remember, and also most supplements, you're going to be taking them. It gets up to 95% curcumin. So that's really good if you take a really good supplement. A whole turmeric root and powders contain only about 2 to 8% curcumin. So remember that. Sometimes supplements, you get a more bang for your buck. Okay. So supplements are often used for therapeutic effects. Okay. The reason they do that is because they can kind of condense and concentrate that curcumin with the piperine better in a supplement form. Remember that part. Okay. Because a lot of people will do turmeric powder, but you need a lot of it. So that's the problem. So with the natural turmeric, it's kind of like thinking of, I have at the office, I have a really good a greens supplement. A lot of times you always, of course, want to eat all your, natural dark leafy vegetables. However, a lot of us aren't able to get there, right? On a regular basis, not in the world we live in currently. And so some of there's great supplements out there where you can actually get these dark green powders. You just put it in a shake or your drink and you get as that much because of the concentration of the dehydration. And I love those. I cannot tell you how much I love the dark green powdered supplement. You will never go wrong by taking one of those every day. Okay. So it's kind of the similar idea. Okay. So forms available. You can get turmeric in a fresh root, a ground spice, capsules, teas, or extracts or tinctures. Golden milk, like what we talked about, turmeric with milk and black pepper is a very popular way to consume it. Side effects. Okay. So we're going to talk some side effects a little bit. Generally, one of the most safe, right? It's especially in culinary amounts. So that means how much you use on food. High doses may cause stomach upset, nausea, and diarrhea because it's a pretty stringent or kind of a strong supplement. If you have a really good turmeric supplement, you can taste it. You can feel that spice to it. So it can cause nausea, diarrhea, those kind of things. It says to, and this is the caution portion, avoid in cases of gallstone or bile duct issues because it stimulates bile production. So if you remember one of my old talks, if you want to go back in down my Rumble, remember where my Rumble is. I'll put it back in there. I talk at length about these herbals called choleretics and cholagogues. Oh, shoot. I just pushed the button. I shouldn't. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. So remember that. Go look up choleretics, cholagogues. I know you can watch a whole thing on bile production and liver stuff. So, or liver activity as well, because there are herbs that'll do that. Interactions. The biggest one is blood thinners. There's very little, especially there's some bigger, intense blood thinners. So you want to make sure you are taking this with your doctor's consent, especially if you're taking one of those blood thinners, which are unfortunate. Some people have to, though. I understand. Some diabetes medications, I'm going to give you, and then some drugs can be metabolized with the liver. So there's always reasons to make sure that your doctor knows you're taking turmeric, right? So turmeric, most of your doctors are not going to balk at you for taking turmeric, but it's always smart to ask and use caution when any kind of supplement, right? So we always have to remember that. And the biggest thing, just quality. You have to choose high quality organic turmeric. Supplements with third-party testing to avoid contaminants like lead, sometimes found in low-quality turmeric. So if you get crap turmeric, that could be an issue. So the big thing is on the high quality, remember what I said. Some people get into turmeric a lot, okay? But one of the problems that happens is if you get into the turmeric powders, you may not take enough to get the benefit out of it. That's why it's super important to have those higher concentrated supplements out there. And there is a lot. We carry a few different ones actually at the office. One of our favorites is from our friends down at Chups in the Amish store, and they bring us one called Inflacom, and I love it. We eat. I had 4 today. Listen to my workout. So my workout always surprises you. So it's 3 or 4. I think it's 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, right? And so because of the way my schedule is, I make all the days, but sometimes I'll have to skip one of the days they say is off, right? Oh my gosh. And it's usually some kind of weightlifting, something strengthening your core. It's like CrossFit is basically what it is. But dang it, today was awful. It was the thing. It was the one workout I did not want to do. I am not a runner, folks. My brain does not like the running thing. Thank goodness for audiobooks. Thank goodness for audiobooks. So I had to run 3 miles, and then I had to row 2,000 meters on my rowing machine. That's not too bad, right? I could do that. That's cake. And then you had to run another mile. It was awful, but it was amazing at the same time. So, oh my goodness, that is super cool. Mr. Bradford. Yes, he probably could tell you more about turmeric than half my patients actually, because he in real time has used that. That's awesome. Terry and Brian. I see that. I know. It's like there's my 1% tribe brings people together. Terry and Brian know each other. I know that. And it's kind of wondrous. All right. So we'll keep going. All right. So my final thoughts tonight. I just wanted to throw this by you guys. What are we going to go over? My biggest suggestion would be maybe try the golden milk. Okay. So maybe go get a golden milk. I think Rachel and I are going to try it, actually. Now that I see the turmeric latte, I think I'm going to try that, actually. Oh, see, this is a good suggestion. So Brian actually has changed his world with turmeric just by itself. I can attest to that. He takes about 3,000 milligrams per day. Okay. Split it up throughout the day. The reason why do you have to do it? Why? Because it doesn't digest well. And if you don't have it in your system, eventually it's not going to work, right? If you don't have enough of it in your system, think of it exactly. And this is what I tell every patient that I send on it. Most of the time, I'll give them my supplement bottle and I say, hey, for the first 3 days, you have to take 8 of these a day. First 3 to 4 days, typically, about 8 of them. And they look at me, what? 8 of them? I go, yes, 8. And they were like, okay, why? Because I have to think of it as oil in your car. So you don't take that entire reservoir of oil in your car and use all the oil at once, right? We don't even use it as much as your gas tank, right? So think of turmeric as oil, the oil reservoir in your car. Once you fill that entire oil reservoir full, you're only going to need a little bit to top it off later on. What's also amazing about it not being bioavailable is your innate intelligence gets to use it exactly when it needs to, if it's available. So if your reservoir of oil, right, is full to the max, right, the body, the innate intelligence will be able to use those curcuminoids over and over again to help control inflammation over time. You can almost not have too many supplements that have this kind of process to them. I can give you one kind of medical one that I can think of that's very similar. So kids have, there's certain seizure medicines that kids that have massive, what they call grand mal seizures. Grand mal is the ones that they go down and it is life threatening. A lot of times a kid will have to be put on certain medications. These medications actually end up building up into the kid's system for exactly what I just said. They need they have an oil reservoir of this, seizure medicine. They have an oil reservoir full with this seizure medicine sitting in there because it needs to be available when the time is right and it is needed, right? The same kind of action happens with turmeric. Okay. Think about this. It really likes fat. What other human process in our body is something that your body really likes to hold for a rainy day and then use that energy later? It's your fat, right? All of us would be like, well, crap, that system's all messed up because it tries to keep all the fat and not use it any of it for energy. I go, exactly. So your body is used to doing that. Once you've built up this oil reserve, now it can use that oil reserve when it sees fit. If it doesn't have it, then the chronic inflammation takes off on it. Okay. Man, I hope you guys like that. All right. So I felt this one was really fun for me. So I'm going to put this link as well. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, hang on. Let me get to that before so in the chat also, oh, be nice. Okay. And most of you have your access point, I really, really like this site. So this is a place, it's called Fullscript. Fullscript is a place where you can get most of your supplements. I absolutely adore this thing. It's like Amazon, but all the supplements in there are vetted. We started using that a lot at the office. I've signed up several patients on it. They can use it as they want to. The neatest thing about it, though, is there's 30,000 or more vetted supplement companies in there. So you can range the prices. You can see the quality a little better. The lady, Dr. Lowdog, who is my teacher in herbals, is one of the head of the board on there. It's a massive program. They're starting to do a lot of different things in there. So remember that full script, starting to do lab work. You can communicate with me in a lot of different ways. So we're trying to figure out that portion as well. So just remember, get a good turmeric supplement with what? Piperine in it, right? So we want to get that active black peppery kind of thing in there. Some of you have a fantastic one. Just keep taking it. But the biggest takeaway from tonight that I want to get you through is this is one of those supplements that you probably, in the chronic inflammation age that we are, and until we get rid of all the crappiness out of our food, why wouldn't you take turmeric on a regular basis, right? This should be one of those staples. This should be one of those things that you take like your multivitamin, those kind of things, right? And so just think about that. You don't have to do it all the time, right? To a high level. Like Brian said, he does 3,000 milligrams. He doesn't have to do that forever. He can do 4 or 5 days of that 3,000 milligrams. And then if he needs 1 or 2, it'll work, right? Because his body has built that up. It's beautiful. And if you remember back, there's a reason I made those studies first. Did you see it's more effective than NSAIDs? Think about how many people in your family that are taking 4 and 5 Tylenol a day. And the saddest day for me sometimes is seeing somebody do that to themselves, because it's really easy. You just grab the stuff, right? Take that kind of stuff. And then they wonder why their kidneys are shutting down and they're on dialysis, right? That stuff sucks. It's no fun. And it's little moves and understandings that may help people out. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed your night. I had, one more hilarious. My awesome daughter's birthday was tonight. So we got to go to a local baseball game and they won like 3-2 in the bot. It was great. It was a great game. Did a lot of fun stuff this weekend. My adventure on my chickens went from 6 down to 3 because we think we got a fox, and the fox is out foxing the chiropractor that thinks he knows how to catch them. So this is the 3rd night of attempting to catch this little sucker. I will win. I will keep you abreast of how we do with this whole thing week to week. Hopefully it won't be week to week. Hopefully Wednesday, I will be telling you a celebration song. So with that said, you guys have a great night.